All right, so there's some news today regarding United and their new pet policy. Today they released a new pet policy which bans over 25 breeds, including French Bulldogs, from traveling in the cargo area. This area is supposedly temperature regulated, pressure regulated, and a safe place for animals. However, if it's unsafe for certain breeds to be down there, I don't think it's safe for any breed to be down there. That's my personal opinion. The reason why, I'm assuming the reason why they're banning French Bulldogs and other breeds from being transported in the cargo is due to their flat faces. So Frenchies have flat faces, which prevents them from breathing as well as other breeds, which have a longer snout. However, if you don't have a French Bulldog, I don't recommend it. Anything you can to avoid putting your dog in the cargo area, I would do that. The trouble really isn't once the pet is on the plane in the cargo area. The issue is in the between time. So when you're transferring planes, changing planes, they're boarding your dog onto the plane. So when they're transferring, they can stay on the tarmac. That's the area when they unload all the luggage and then change it to the new plane. Your dog can be sitting in that area for like hours, right? So, and that's outside, so that's not temperature regulated. It can be super hot depending on the month or super cold, and that's extremely unsafe for any breed. My personal opinion again is to not fly United. I tried to avoid that airline at all costs because if anyone doesn't know the story, I'll kind of relay it quickly. So recently there was an incident, this is just one incident that United's had, but just the most recent incident, the woman with the French Bulldog, her carrier didn't fit all the way underneath the seat, and hers apparently was sticking out a little bit. So the flight attendant basically forced her to put her dog in the overhead bin where you put luggage, not living things, right? The owner argued with the flight attendant and said, no, I do not want to put my dog up there. Like, there's a dog in this bag, I cannot put it up there. The flight attendant like eventually convinced her to do so or forced her to do so. Into the flight, the dog was barking the entire time and then stopped about 30 minutes into the flight, and when they landed, they found the dog dead in the bag, which is just the saddest, most awful thing. I can't even imagine how that person felt. So that was the most recent incident with United, which is horrific and awful. I hope that the laws eventually change and pets are treated more like humans, because they should be. For every one of you that has a pet, if you're anything like me, the pet is part of your family and you treat it like a family member. Leo's my son and I treat him like my son. I give him the best of the best. He goes everywhere with me, and that's why I try to avoid flying United, because even before this incident, I've flown plenty of times with Leo, and the only airline that's ever given us any trouble is United. You just got to do what they say. United was a pain in the butt for the entire process. So much that they said that I wasn't allowed to fly with Leo at one point. I was in New York with Leo and I could not physically fly home. Like, they told me the documents I needed before I got on the flight, so I had them. Then on the flight home, they're like, oh, you also need this. Well, you don't have it, you can't fly. So I was just appalled at that and I stopped flying United altogether. And this was years ago, over 2 years ago this happened. I guess my recommendations would be, try to get your dog to fly with you inside the plane. Don't do cargo if you can at all. Please, like, try not to do cargo, because I just don't think it's safe. My top airlines that I have flown with and I personally have great experience with would be Delta, number one. They're amazing. Also, Virgin's great. American's great. I just flew American. American's super easy, great service. JetBlue is great. Alaska's also great. The only one I've had issues with and that other people have had issues with is United. It's a very touchy subject, and I hope that you guys found it valuable. do your research, don't fly in the cargo bin, don't fly United.